You plan your entire week around one sunny afternoon. You talk to your motorcycle out loud when no one is around. You have smelled rain coming before anyone else noticed. You get angry at cars not because they are slow, but because they are wasting a perfectly good road. You have taken a 3-hour detour for no reason and called it a shortcut. If any of this sounds normal to you, congratulations. You are one of us, and this list is about to get very personal. Number 1, you check the weather more than a farmer. Not once, not twice. You check it 15, maybe 20 times in the days before a ride. Monday morning, you're already looking at Saturday's forecast. By Wednesday, you are comparing 3 different weather apps because one of them says 12% chance of rain and another says 8, and you need to know which one is lying. By Friday night, you're checking the hourly breakdown like it is a stock portfolio. And if the forecast changes overnight, your entire mood shifts. A sunny Saturday can make your whole week. A rainy one can ruin it. Non-riders plan around events, you plan around weather, and you have canceled real plans with real people because a random Tuesday turned out to be 22 degrees and clear. Number 2, you talk to your motorcycle out loud in the garage. When nobody is around, you say things like, "Come on, let us go." Or you apologize when you hit a pothole like it felt it. You give it a pat on the tank after a good ride, like it did something right. And if it does not start on the first try, you do not just turn the key again. You talk to it. You say something like, "Come on, not today." And when it finally starts, you nod like you reached an agreement. You have never told anyone you do this, or maybe you have and they looked at you like you needed help. But every rider does it. Every single one. Because somewhere along the way, the motorcycle stopped being a machine and started being something closer to a partner. Not in a weird way. In the way that anything you trust with your life starts to feel like it has a personality. Number 3, you smell things nobody else smells. You can smell rain 20 minutes before it arrives. You know exactly what fresh asphalt smells like at 30 degrees. You have caught the scent of someone's barbecue from 2 streets away and knew exactly what they were cooking. You can tell the difference between morning air and afternoon air with your eyes closed. Non-riders experience the world through a windshield. Filtered, sealed, climate-controlled. You experience it raw. Every temperature change, every pocket of cold air in a valley, every warm gust that comes off a building. You do not just ride through the environment, you wear it. And that changes the way you notice everything. Your senses are sharpened in a way that people who only drive will never understand. You're not trying to be dramatic about it. It is just what happens when there is nothing between you and the world. Number 4, you get angry at cars. Not because they are slow, not because they cut you off, because they are wasting a perfectly good road. You see a car on a beautiful twisting mountain pass going 40 in a 60 zone, windows up, air conditioning on, driver looking at their phone, and something inside you gets personally offended. Not for safety reasons, for philosophical ones. That road deserves better. That corner was built to be felt, not ignored. And they are treating it like a hallway. You know this is irrational. You know they have every right to drive however they want, but you cannot help it. You see a great road being wasted, and it bothers you the way it bothers a chef when someone puts ketchup on a steak. It is not your business, but it hurts to watch. Number 5, you have never taken the short way home. Not once. GPS says left, you go right. It says 15 minutes, you take 45. You have ridden past your own house just to add another 10 minutes. You have invented errands that do not exist just to justify staying on the motorcycle. Oh, I should probably check if that store is still open. It is not. You knew it was not. You just needed a reason to keep riding. The long way home is not the long way. It is the right way. Because the ride is never about the destination. The destination is just the excuse you gave yourself to go riding. And the longer you can delay arriving, the longer the ride exists. Every rider knows that the moment you park, the ride is over. And nobody wants the ride to be over. Number 6. You look at every motorcycle that passes, every single one. You do not choose to do this. It just happens. A motorcycle goes by on the opposite side of the road and your head turns like a magnet pulled it. Doesn't matter if it is a sport bike, a cruiser, a scooter, a beat-up commuter, if it has 2 wheels and an engine, you're looking. And it is not just on the road. You do it in parking lots. You do it in movies. You hear a motorcycle engine 3 blocks away and your ears lock on. Someone shows you a photo with a motorcycle in the background and you zoom in on the motorcycle. Not whatever the photo was supposed to be about. Your friends think you are obsessed. You think you're normal? You're both right. Number 7. You sit on your motorcycle in the garage and go nowhere. You do not put on gear. You do not start the engine, you just sit. Hands on the grips, feet on the ground, looking at the gauges, the mirrors, the road that is not in front of you yet, 5 minutes, maybe 10. And then you get up and go back inside. And you feel better. You have never explained this to anyone because it sounds ridiculous. You sat on a stationary machine in a dark garage and somehow your mood improved. But it did. Because the motorcycle is not just a vehicle, it is a space where you are a different version of yourself. And just sitting in that space, even without moving, is enough to remind your brain who you are when the rest of life is trying to make you forget. Number 8, just one more corner. The 3 most dangerous words in motorcycling. Not because of the corner, because of what they do to your decision-making. You said you would turn around at that intersection. You passed it 10 minutes ago. You said you would head back when the fuel light came on. It has been on for 20 kilometers. You said you would be home by 6. It is 7:30. Just one more corner is never one more corner. It is the lie every rider tells themselves to negotiate 5 more minutes of riding. And it works every single time, because the next corner might be the best one. And you cannot go home without knowing. You are not being irresponsible. You are being thorough. Number 9. You judge every road you see, not as a driver, as a rider. You are in a car with someone, driving through the mountains, and while they are looking at the view, you are looking at the road. You are reading the surface. You are clocking the radius of the turns. You are thinking that left-hander looks perfect at about 60. You are mentally riding a road you are currently driving. You do this everywhere. On vacation, on business trips, in the passenger seat, in the back of a taxi. You have looked at a road on Google Maps and felt something. Not directions, desire. That road has 3 switchbacks and a long sweeper before a straightaway. You do not know this because you studied it. You know it because your brain now reads roads the way a surfer reads waves. You cannot turn it off, and honestly, you do not want to. Number 10, you park your motorcycle and then look back at it as you walk away. Every single time. It does not matter how long you have owned it. It does not matter how many motorcycles you have had. You park. You take 3 steps, and you turn around and look at it one more time. Like it might have changed in the last 2 seconds. Like it might have gotten more beautiful while you were not watching. Car owners do not do this. They park and walk away without a second thought. But motorcycle owners look back because the motorcycle is not just parked there, it is yours. It is an extension of who you are, sitting in a public space. And you want to see it one more time before you go. It is the same reason people look back at their house after leaving for a trip. Not because they forgot something, because it matters. Number 11, cold hands, wet socks, numb fingers, and you refuse to stop. It is raining. It has been raining for an hour. Your gloves are soaked through. Your visor is fogged. Every logical part of you says pull over, wait it out, stop at a gas station, and you keep going. Not because you're tough, because stopping means the ride pauses. And a paused ride is worse than a wet one. You will ride through discomfort that would make a non-rider quit immediately. Not because you enjoy suffering, because you have made a deal with yourself. The ride is worth the discomfort. The feeling of pushing through rain and coming out the other side into dry road is worth more than dry hands. And when you finally do stop, soaked and shivering, and someone asks why you did not just wait, you say it was not that bad. It was that bad. You just did not care. Number 12, the missed wave. This one hurts. Another rider comes toward you. You see them. They see you. They drop 2 fingers. And you cannot wave back because you're mid-shift or covering the brake, or your hand just does not move fast enough and they pass. And for the next 3 minutes, you feel genuinely guilty. Like you just ignored a friend. You did not mean to leave them hanging. You were busy keeping yourself alive. But your brain does not care about the logic. Your brain says you broke the code. You left a fellow rider without acknowledgement. And now they think you are one of those riders who does not wave. You are not. You wave at everything on 2 wheels, including bicycles, sometimes by accident. It was just bad timing. And you will think about it for the rest of the ride. Number 13. You smile inside your helmet and nobody knows. This is the most private thing about riding. The moment it happens is different for everyone. Maybe it is the first clean downshift into a corner. Maybe it is the moment you crest a hill and see the road open up ahead of you. Maybe it is the first 30 seconds of a ride when the world has not caught up to you yet, and everything is still quiet and perfect. But somewhere during the ride, you smile. Not a social smile, Not a smile for anyone, a real one. The kind that starts in your chest before it reaches your face, and nobody sees it. The visor is down. The world sees a helmet, but inside that helmet, for a few seconds, you are the happiest version of yourself that exists. Number 14. You have tried to explain all of this to someone who does not ride, and they did not get it. They nodded, they smiled, they said that sounds fun, but they did not get it. Because these are not things you can understand through description, they are things you have to live. They are the small, weird, specific, unexplainable details of a life on two wheels that only make sense to the people who live it. And that is fine, because you're not looking for their understanding. You're looking for the nod from the rider next to you who has smelled rain from 2 streets away and waved at a bicycle by accident and sat on a cold motorcycle in a dark garage for 10 minutes and felt better afterward. If you are that person, you do not need anyone to explain it to you. You already know. You have always known. Since the first time you threw a leg over a motorcycle and realized this is not a hobby, this is who I am. Drop the one from this list that hit you the hardest in the comments and be honest. We all know it is more than one.